can the squad recover from this? And I just want to go to show a couple of tweets. And I think we'll start there. A couple of tweets of just sort of the state of play for this. And let me pull up my bookmarks because I got them all here. So here we go. I actually want to start with this part here. It's a couple of clips now. I'm remembering my clips. This is a short clip. This is where Bree is talking about Democrats have a Brandon. Oh, I like the funny joke. She's a Brandon. Democrats have a Brandon Labor, and progressives are using the same trick they use with BBB to save face. I called out the okey doke and laid out the stakes in today's radar. We are experiencing an unholy alliance between government and industry. She clipped about 4 minutes. We won't watch 4 minutes, but let's listen to part of what Bree points out here.
But despite how ridiculously cut and dry this is, only 8 Democrats voted against the temporary agreement that would strip away the rail workers' bargaining power. All credit goes to Rashida Tlaib, Mark Pocan, and a few others, but most of the progressive members of the CPC and the squad fell in line, given cover by Jayapal's sick leave bill that is never going to pass the Senate. It's like how they justified bifurcating the human infrastructure bill from the hard infrastructure bill in the Build Back Better plan. Everyone could see the okey-doke from a mile away. The whole point of splitting off the social safety net provisions was to enable them to get voted down without jeopardizing the core parts of the infrastructure bill. And of course, that is exactly what happened. The sick leave amendment is completely performative. And guess what? Here's a clip of Representative Josh Gottheimer actually admitting it.
And I also think, as Mano just pointed out, we will vote separately on a paid sick leave amendment as well. And I think that's critically important. I'm hoping that moves along to the Senate and the Senate passes that. So I think we've come up with a good deal here to avert a strike, to keep the railroad running, which I think is especially important right now for our economy.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you're going to get a vote on paid sick leave. It's likely to not go anywhere in the Senate. So even if it is just a statement of you, if you will, of House Democrats, is that okay with you on paid sick leave?
Well, I think it's clear that we make that statement, and I think many of us feel strongly about that. The biggest thing is to avert a strike and avoid that. I think this deal has a lot of good things for rail workers.
So Josh Gottheimer is a corporate Democrat, but clearly he knows what this is about. Everybody in Washington knows what this is about, which is just shielding the left. In order to keep the non-establishment people engaged, you have to keep giving them a little bit of crumbs to stay invested. And the petty bourgeoisie literally only needs a little bit of crumbs. You can't keep the leftists like us invested, because we need more than a little bit of crumbs. The working class and the poor need more than a little bit of crumbs. So to keep the humanist reports, the David Doles, the TYTs invested, in order for them to be able to say, go Democrats, you have to throw them this bone. That's why all of them are jumping on it. Jacobin, look at Bernie Sanders, Common Dreams. Look at Bernie Sanders with this fake thing that Josh Gottheimer is admitting it's not going to pass. This is before the vote, Nick, that this clip was put out, or that this segment was shot. And I can let it play, and then let me let it play, because I'm curious to see what you think about the rest of what is said here.
Workers, I've heard from many of the unions about that, and the importance of their increase in pay and other benefits that will help them. And I think it's really important that they get that, and that we keep, of course, the country moving, especially now.
It's important that we make that statement. Look, he just admitted. He admitted. He came out and said the biggest thing is to avert a strike. They don't give a fig about workers. They care about the business interests that keep them in Congress. Now, there has been some pushback. Most notably, Bernie Sanders has said what Biden won't. He'll refuse to vote for any legislation that doesn't include 7 days of sick leave for workers. And in the RWU press release I read at the top of this radar, they specifically praised Bernie as one of a handful of progressives among wolves in sheep's clothing who, quote, have shown their willingness to fight for us. Interestingly, Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio have also said Congress shouldn't crush unions with this rail deal and shouldn't intervene at all. And Josh.
And we'll stop there because it kind of retreads what we already covered in the previous segment. But you leave this lane open for for Republicans to outflank you on the left. Nick, we talked about it earlier. We thought the death knell was the Nazi. We thought the death knell was the protest about the Nazi funding. We thought all of these things. We thought more funding. We thought Finkelstein's video where he's talking about the progressive agenda pretty much collapsed with this vote. We have them voting for Hakeem Jeffries. And now we have this, the ultimate dagger to the worker and the working class. I don't see how they can ever fully recover from them. But what say you about that?
It's a good question. It's 100% over, and one can argue it's been over for quite some time. Because if you look at the people who engage with AOC, it's all liberals now. The same people who used to be terrified of her, they now retweet her. AOC slay queen. AOC knows her audience is liberals now. The real left has since abandoned her, and that's shown because when you look at her approval ratings, she is as unpopular as Kamala Harris, as unpopular as Nancy Pelosi. So now they just go full sellout because they already know they lost the real left. They know the Anna Kasparian NATO left is going to defend them no matter what. They know that 80% of Twitter is filled with bots. There are a ton of DNC bot troll farms like Brooklyn Dad, and they know they got brainless idiots like Vosh, who have a CIA-built platform that would defend them no matter what. So they like, we don't care. We lost the revolutionary blackouts. We don't care. We sold out the Palestinians. Fuck the Palestinians. Fuck black people. Fuck the people in cages. We about to get our money, nigga. I'm about to get my pension, lifetime pension. You think I'm gonna get? You think your little struggle is gonna get in way of that? That's what they think. Then we're gonna be all right.
We gonna be all right. We said at the same
time. You think I give a fuck about arming Nazis in Ukraine? You see my retirement package? I get healthcare. I get unlimited paid sick days. You think I give a fuck about Palestinians?
Yeah,
that's what they think. That's legitimately how they operate. And like you said, even Jordan said if they don't explain their votes at this point, you know it's a full con. It's already a full con. But they should be like, all right, I'm gonna explain technically this is why I did that. They don't even do that. They hide because they know there's no explanation. They straight up hiding behind corporate media. AOC goes on Pod Save America and chum it up with the neoliberals from the Obama administration, but she wouldn't be caught dead on RBN. Hell,
no,
she wouldn't be caught dead on Kyle Kalinski's show.
Yeah, RBN.
Bernie Sanders was afraid of Kyle motherfucking Kalinski. Are you guys serious? You guys think these people are serious? They're enemies of the working class. And it hurts a lot of people feeling that RBN's out in front saying this, but it's true, and we've been proven true throughout the most recent actions as well. That's my
point. And to your point, you mentioned Anna Kasparian. When Erin Kasparian is the firebrand, she goes off the rails sometimes. She's the one that's allowed to scream at the Democrats.
And you know, funny. She went after me. She went after me recently too, and we were clowning her because.
We're gonna get to that. I have it saved in my bookmarks because we're gonna get. But I'll probably let you share it because I want you to go through the story because you know the story of Geoff and all of that stuff. But she only chimes in when you blocked. That's how you saw it because I found out yesterday she chimed in on something about Me Too, but I just found this out because it was on something that was blocked, David Sirota or something like that. She chimed, so she knows where to chime in and where not to chime in.
Well, you know she's salty as fuck. She's salty as fuck because she's seen RBN roast her and she'd be waiting for time to get. I'm like, all right, now I know you saw our stream where we was roasting you guys when you got destroyed by Matt Gaetz. She immediately replied to Geoff and the G-Hive and the liberals. They are unapologetically Democrats. They love the Democratic Party, and that's the faction that Anna has to associate with because she knows it's over with the left. So she buddies up with Democrats. That's her audience. That's her friends. Because the true Marxists, the real socialists, the real left, we've been seeing through TYT. But go ahead, CJ.
Absolutely. So let's listen. Now, what I am saying about this clip is when it can't be good for the squad, AOC, and all the other progressives when on your cheerleading station, you're getting called out sometimes like this by Anna.
Okay, so the vote in the Senate hasn't happened yet. But this concession by Pramila Jayapal is the most Jayapal move of all time. It really is. And what I love is seeing corporate Democrats on Twitter say things like, you know, Jayapal really should be considered as Speaker of the House or the next Democratic leader in the House of Representatives. Interesting how they're all like rallying in support of her all of a sudden. It's gonna be Hakeem Jeffries, but nonetheless, I digress. Let's move on. Now, progressive lawmakers postured as warriors for the rail workers yesterday. I'll give you one example. AOC, for instance, again, yesterday tweeted, railroad workers grind themselves to the bone for this country as their labor produces billions for Wall Street. They demand the basic dignity of paid sick days. I stand with them. If Congress intervenes, it should be to have workers' backs and secure their demands in legislation. I agree, AOC, I totally agree with you on that. So I was really happy to find that you voted no on the legislation that you spoke out against just yesterday. Except you didn't, you voted for the legislation you spoke out against on Twitter yesterday. See, I hope people understand that tweets don't necessarily translate into actions. And in this particular case, the only progressive who voted no on preventing the rail workers from striking was Rashida Tlaib, and she deserves a world of credit for that. Now,
my bad. Go ahead.
Real quick, she said tweets does not necessarily translate into action.
I gotta replay that. I gotta rewind that just a second. My wife was talking to me.
2 years now.
My wife was talking to me right at that same point. So let me hear it again.
You didn't. You voted for the legislation you spoke out against on Twitter yesterday. See, I hope people understand that tweets don't necessarily translate into actions. And
so, CJ, and I'll let it play. I'll make this real quick point. You know what? One of the reasons why she is really upset about this, she don't give a fuck about the workers. Her ego. AOC embarrassed you, Anna. AOC and the squad, you have debased, shamed, and ruined your reputation on the left forever because of AOC. So Anna don't give a fuck about the workers. She's just angry at AOC for shaming and debasing her for being this bad. But go ahead, continue the video. I just want to add that.
And I think that's why when they don't do segments on stuff like this, that's what they're doing. It's shame, Nick.
Yeah.
How can they? Their whole audience is based off what? You say this all the time. They're built off of Bernie.
Yes.
And Bernie is what? These are Bernie disciples. Bernie disciples are being terrible. Even Bernie is being terrible. So what can they say? They're doing. That's why they're moving to Trump. That's why they're moving to more red blue content. Because they have nothing. Look at Jordan's channel, for example. This is why he started turning up Trump stuff, turning up the red blue, turning up the culture war stuff. Because the squad is not providing them with content usable anymore.
Yes,
they're not providing them with usable content. Go ahead.
No. We can get back to it. That's such a good point. That's why you see them shift to Trump all the time. That's why they do reaction videos about Tucker Carlson. They upload 2 Jimmy Dore videos every week to do everything to point away from the giant elephant in the room. They have to talk about Jimmy Dore every goddamn week so you don't remember how shitty the squad is. Such a great point. Let's continue the video.
Yeah. All right.
And in this particular case, the only progressive who voted no on preventing the rail workers from striking was Rashida Tlaib, and she deserves a world of credit for that. Now,
that's all I wanted to play from there, and we can wind this segment down and give our opinions, because I just wanted to show somebody on their side, a cheerleader for them, a rah-rah, that whole network, rah-rah for them. They developed, they created the Justice Democrat by way of Cenk. Look what they're saying on that channel, and then you saw the previous video. It's just, They're certainly not fully recovering, but this is the reason why, like you were saying, you alluded to it. This is why they're having to replace leftists with liberal support. They have to.
Like this.
They have to vote for NATO to get liberal support. They've given up. They literally wrote off left. You telling me, Nick, they don't know that vote is writing off real left, is writing off Margaret Kimberly. Bye, you ain't coming back. They understand that, and they know they're going after liberals. This is why her approval rating is the way it is. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why people like Anna have to go after liberals now. Like, this is Anna's good friend. This guy is like the universal joke of Twitter. Like the universal joke. He blocks everyone on left Twitter and then posts behind the block. He like the professional grim job. Like he blocks the entirety.
G5. I always hear you guys say, not always, but sometimes you say G5, and I never knew. I was like, let me look up who the G person is.
This dude was he was a Bernie supporter. He used to follow me, he used to love my work. Then I started criticizing Bernie Sanders, and he got super pissed, blocked me, and now he got Nick derangement syndrome. This dude tweets about me literally every day. Every day. This man does a grim job. And then to me, it's hilarious. I literally be looking, people be sending me stuff, I'll be cracking up because his criticism is never scathing. His criticism is always like, why is Nick being mean to Bernie and AOC? Why is rapping so straight black out?
It's never like Nick said this about Bernie. But according to this article from World Socialist website, this is it's never that. It's always something petty.
Dude, these people prop me up more than anyone because people see my enemies and they're like, man, Nick got the dumbest enemies. The dumbest enemies. And this guy, he never says anything scathing. It's always, oh my God, Nick Chris on the squad. He's a grifter. I'm like, bro, this not shit's gonna hurt me. He lost followers. He hasn't gained any followers. RBN's been growing, and they just been screeching because they are irrelevant. So this is
what did you say though?
This is a hilarious example, and I'll be quick on this. He said this clown entire political identity is twisting every situation to make it look like Bernie, AOC, and the squad are somehow selling you out. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. And this guy got the biggest Jimmy Dore derangement syndrome all time, so he like contractually obligated by the DNC to mention him every tweet. So then he
seems like they all have the same sort of stuff that they believe. Jimmy derangement, it's always certain things.
And he's a NATO leftist. He's a NATO leftist.
Oh God!
You go to his page. You go to his page. He retweets Voss. He retweets Voss and a Kasparian, unironically. Like the NATO left is a complete circle with these people. So I love that I got enemies like this. It's so hilarious because guys, he getting upset with me for calling out the squad regarding how they acted during the rail strike.
What is his receipts though? What is his to him? Your tweets are his receipts. Can you just read one or both of your tweets so people can see this is what he considers a receipt to his point?
He does it all the time. He pull my tweets up. He like, look at Nick bashing Bernie. The only people that could possibly bash Bernie is grifters. Bernie is my hero. Bernie can do no wrong. So I'm literally saying Bernie and the squad real quiet about buying screwing rail workers. And they still haven't called him out for it. And I was proven right. I had the suspicion. I was like, why is AOC not calling out Biden? Why is AOC not calling out Biden? That was suspicious to me. Because they was going to side with Biden. That was obvious. I said it, and this happened all the time. I'll say some shit. Geoff and his liberal army will freak out, and then literally the next day I'll be proven right. Happens all the time. So then I usually don't give him any attention, but I couldn't resist. Because I can't respond. When this guy tweets about me every day, bro, I don't feel like responding every goddamn time. It gets ridiculous. I'm like, God, dude, get a fucking life, dude. Get a girlfriend, something. God damn. But then, so I'll say now, and this guy, I gave it some time. As of like 2 p.m. today, he still haven't tweeted about it. This guy's going to pretend that AOC and the squad didn't vote against the railroad worker. He still haven't said anything about it. So that's why I said, now that AOC and the squad betrayed the rail workers, this clown is quiet as fuck, and I ratioed the shit out of him. I got 14,000 because this guy got, and I know you got a lot of you guys not on Twitter, but this guy has he's like the clown. Everyone knows you joke. Like anytime anyone mentions him, you get 1,000 likes because everyone hates him.
Except for Jim Perlman, apparently, because that's why I heard that
and a Kasparian. And look at this guy, Anna Kasparian, good friends with Geoff.
She replied.
Yeah, and this guy, Nefarious Filbert, that's the guy who we did a segment. We called him out because he was calling out he literally smeared the Uhuru Black Socialist movement. Movement, and he said they were repeating Russian talking points, and that they was associated with Black Hammer. He smeared. This is a guy who smears Black socialists all the time, and this is who Anna. She's friends with Geoff and people who smeared Black socialists. Do you guys see who these people are? And in response to me accurately calling out Bernie and the squad, she says that guy is embarrassingly thirsty. So this is Anna seeing us roast her all the time. She saw the Matt Gaetz video. She saw all our criticism, and she's just sitting there seething. Motherfucking RBN. Motherfucker, who the fuck they think they are? And
Jordan Sheraton just did this too. Jordan Sheraton just did this last week too. Not even in it, just fuming because of some critique, and then they just jump in. Humanist Report. This is actually, Nick, you're pointing out the fact this 3 times in a row. Humanist Report did the same thing. That's why he jumped in and called Sabby a dipshit out of nowhere. With all she said was like I agree, and she's called him a dipshit. Where did that anger come from? Unless he's seen our content, ripping them apart.
Guys, I know a lot of you guys are on Twitter, so you guys don't see this, but this is one of the reasons why, like, the boutique left know who we are, and they be throwing these random ass shades, and I'm like, Anna, I know you saw us roast us, and she has no response to that. Her response is to call me thirsty because I just did the same rant that she did. How does that make sense?
Ain't that something?
So,
ain't that something there?
Why are they allowed to criticize Bernie and AOC, but when I do it, I'm thirsty? I don't know. Ask yourself that question.